Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. Today is Fri-Yay. It is June 2nd, 2023. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup. Who is here and how are you? Let's see. Tommy's here. I know there's way more of you here, but Tommy's the only one saying anything. Good morning, Tommy. Good morning to the rest of you. It is Fri-Yay. You can probably hear the birds. Good morning, Frank. Here we go. All the windows are open. It is 55 degrees outside. I got the house cooled off pretty well. It didn't get too hot yesterday inside. Good morning, Stacy. Stacy says, no notification on this end. Not something I have any control over. But hopefully by this point, you guys know when I do a show and how to get to it. Yeah, so it was 93 degrees when I got in the parked car at the end of the workday. I saw 112 on the thermometer, which was a little hot. But by the time I got home, about 5 o'clock, it was still 90 outside. But between curtains drawn and keeping windows shut, it wasn't that bad inside. It was probably 75. And once it hit 75 outside, I opened all the windows and got a breeze going and slept quite well. Good morning, Jenny. Stacy says the house cooled off to 80 overnight. I'm so sorry. Why only 80? I don't know what the temperature was there, but it was 50. Got down below 55 here overnight. Dennis says, let's get this Fri-Yay party started. Good morning to you, my friend. Good morning, Brian. So for some reason, Facebook didn't give you a notification. I'm so sorry. You can always watch on YouTube too. Although, I know you guys prefer the chat for Facebook, which makes sense. Yeah. But you're here, and I'm glad you're here. Today, what am I doing today? Today, I have to finish planting the garden because it was still so hot when I was out working yesterday. I managed to get all the mowing and the trimming around the garden done, and I got 10. I don't know. I got a bunch of the garden beds weeded and kind of planned a couple things, but I was fried. It was a long day. I had a whole bunch of meetings yesterday that all went really well. I have a new client coming on, new martial arts school. I'm excited in an area that we do not have a martial arts school that I work with. And so I came in and I had some dinner and came up with an idea, the iteration of an idea I've had for a long time. And I think it's time to move the idea forward. So I'm excited about that. It'll be a couple months before I can get that really rolling, but you'll know more about it. You'll hear. Jenny says, you have to try much harder than not sending me a notification to keep me away. Love it. Frank says it's going to be high at 92 today. It's going to be a hot day at work. We're supposed to be 87 or so. I will tell you the number one thing I have done to keep the house from baking is I purchased those cheap paper accordion shades. You know what I'm talking about, right? And I put them in windows that they need to go into, and it makes such a huge difference. And no, they're not the most attractive thing, but when I'm not using them, they're up and they're clipped and you can't, you forget they're there. But I've got them in 4 windows. And yeah, that's the big reason. It's curtains. So Dennis is 91 there today. Yeah, it's hot. It's summertime. So this morning I'm going to finish planting the garden. I do have some work I'm going to do. And then I am headed. Some of you have had the opportunity to meet and train with my original instructors in Maine. And after a long hiatus due to pandemic-y things, I'm going to go see them. I'm going to go hang out a little bit tonight, tomorrow for a little bit. We'll train and hang, and it's great. I haven't seen them in years, and I miss them. So I'm going to do that. Probably will be more gardening on Sunday. But I really want to get the garden in this morning because it's supposed to rain. So would be nice for the plants to get acclimated. Did I do anything else yesterday I want to tell you? I don't think so. No, I just sweat a lot. That was the big news of the day. I sweat. Good morning, Kelly. Kelly's excited for tomorrow. She's got 7 new first-degree black belts, 5 second-degree, and her first 4th degree, which for us is master. That's awesome. Congratulations. Yeah. I don't think there's much else for me to say about this weekend. The crow is talking to you. The crow has something to say. That's a crow up on the telephone pole. But I guess if we want to be proper, it's a utility pole now, right? Because it's so many things. Yeah. Nope. That's all I got for you. Yesterday was a simple day. Today will be a simple day. And this weekend will be good, but simple. Let's do jokes. Frank sent over jokes and quotes. So we'll go through those. Thank you to Frank for all you do. Thank you to Josh for our theme song. Thank you to Denise for the audio. I won't go back to bed. I slept well, but I would like to sleep well for longer. Oh, I've decided next Thursday for my birthday, we will be doing a show. Because I do have to get up because I do have a meeting. And I really can't reschedule that one. So, all right. And sharing screen. Share screen. Jokes. June is National Donut Day. The whole month is Donut Day? That does sound like something that the people who would get a donut day would do. Maybe today is Donut Day, or maybe National Donut Day is in June. Either way. I'm opening a dispensary that sells weed and donuts. It's called Glazed and Confused. So the cops caught me doing donuts in my car today. I know what you're thinking. Who the hell names their dog Donuts? Scandalous. What's a basketball player's favorite donut shop? Dunkin' Donuts. Why did the baker quit making donuts? He was fed up with the whole business. How does Bob Marley like his donuts? With jammin'. What do you see when the Pillsbury Doughboy bends over? Donuts. Frank, these are a level of risque that you don't usually go to. Why do golfers love donuts? Always a hole-in-one. The police say that they burn all the weed they confiscate. That would explain the donuts. One time I had a donut stuffed with icing. It was filling. I once had a donut stuffed with icing. It was terrible. It was like cake frosting. The ratio, it was like eating a cake where the cake to frosting ratio was inverted. I know there are people who like that. I am not one of them. What did Yoda say when the bakery was out of pies? Dough or donut? There is no pie. What happens when donuts join a sorority? They have to go through the glazing. Like hazing. What does ADHD stand for? Attention deficit. Hey, donuts. That's great. I like that one. The eyes give everything away. The cop pulls over a guy. Your eyes are awfully red. Have you been drinking? Gee, officer, the man says. Your eyes are awfully glazed. Have you been eating donuts? What did the pastry chef say to his unsupportive father? Donut hold me back. Those are good. Thank you, Frank. Attention deficit, hey, donuts. I like that one. Lots of laughing emojis in the chat here. I like seeing that. Kelly likes frosting. She says yum frosting. Yeah, my favorite donuts are the simple ones. They really are. I like eclairs. But beyond that, an apple cider donut, a chocolate glazed, plain glazed, maple donut, something more simple. In fact, if you would, I'm claiming invention of this. You get some cider donuts, preferably, but it could be any sort of cake style donut. By the way, you shouldn't do this because you will probably have diabetes instantly. And you take the donuts and you cut them in half, like a bagel. And then you make French toast out of them. And then you use them as breakfast sandwich buns. Put egg and cheese on them. Or whatever you put on a breakfast sandwich. I've made them a few times, and they're delicious. I can only speak to cider donuts. But there's just something about it. It's so rich. By the time you're done with one, you probably don't want to eat for a while. Or go back to bed. Everybody's excited about donuts now. Who doesn't love a donut? A bunch of different kinds of carbs. Have I told you guys my bagel theory? Here's my theory on bagels. You make bagels, right? It's a dough. Would not taste very good. Just eating the raw dough. Nobody's eating raw bagel dough. But you boil it, it takes shape, and like, okay. But it's still not good. You have to bake it. So you take boil and then bake. It gets better. But then how do you make a bagel even better? You toast it. What if you then fried, like French toasted, a toasted bagel? I've not done it. I don't know why yet, but I think it would be amazing. And I think somebody should try. Tommy is agreeing with my French toast donuts, but only like once a year, very rich. Yes. Kelly says, when my grandparents would visit from Boston, would always get Boston cream donuts. It was the only time we got them, so I thought you had to go to Boston to get them. Ha! Jenny has a place that slices donuts open and makes ice cream sandwiches out of them. I've heard of this. I can't eat them because they would probably kill me, but they are well loved. Stacy says, remember, if it's donut day, with the purchase of a beverage today, you get a free donut at Dunkin'. Oh, yeah. It's interesting to watch Dunkin' Donuts become just Dunkin', because somewhere along the way, we stopped buying the donuts and we just started drinking the coffee. I remember donut holes. Those were the big deal when I was a kid. Munchkins. And I remember being old enough looking at them going, this doesn't look like... Because I didn't know anything about baking. My mother didn't bake. So I assumed at some point in the baking process, they took like a punch and they punched out the hole in the middle. And I'm looking at the donut going, the shape doesn't add up. It shouldn't be a sphere. It should be more of a cylinder with capped ends. Which, fun fact, when lifesavers made lifesaver holes, that was the shape they used. So the math, physics, whatever, the nerd in me was much more satisfied. Good morning, Gad. All right, let's do quotes. What do we got? All right, once again, Angela Duckworth of Book Frank's reading. Jenny says she remembers lifesaver holes. It was a lifesaver, just smaller. And I still don't like that view. I like that view. Once again, Angela Duckworth, ladies and gentlemen. Grit depends on a different kind of hope. It rests on the expectation that our own efforts can improve our future. I have a feeling tomorrow will be better is different from I resolve to make tomorrow better. It rests on the expectation that our own efforts can improve our future. And this is something we talk about often. You may not have control over what is taught at class, but you have control over how you show up. And if you show up, and what you wear, and what you've eaten during the day, how to prepare, what your mindset is, the sleep you get the night before. There's so many ways you can have an impact on these things that we don't have a lot of control over. And that, in a sense, is control. So, given that is the case, why do we spend so much time distancing ourselves from that control? Because that gives us responsibility. When we don't have control, we don't have responsibility. Or so we like to think. And then we can just complain and we can blame and point fingers and go along in our day without any ownership of the consequences. But of course, if you get right down to it, you have complete control. Not over any of the things that other people do, but specifically over the way we show up. You have complete control over your attitude. Does that mean it's easy to make the best out of a difficult situation? No, but you always have that opportunity. Yeah. All right. I'm just watching the chat. Next. When I'm around people, Kat wrote, my heart and soul radiate with the awareness that I am in the presence of greatness. Maybe greatness unfound or greatness underdeveloped, but the potential or existence of greatness nevertheless. You never know who will go on to do good or even great things or become the next great influencer in the world. So treat everyone like they are that person. Yeah. I've said it before. I believe everyone has something that they could be completely great at, but most people don't put in the time and the effort to discover what that is. And even if they do, they are rarely dedicated enough to become that. I don't know if it's still the case, but if you know Gary Vaynerchuk, who is a marketing and social media influencer, he's been around a while. his big thing is encouraging people. That's really what it comes down to. But years ago, I heard him talking, and someone asked him, I said, you seem to go on any podcast that will have you. Why is that? He said, look, if someone invites me on their show, I'm going to say yes because I don't know where that show is going to go. I would love to be guest number 2 or 3 on a show that started very small but became huge. Makes me look good. Makes me look like I'm picking winners. Actually, I don't know that he said that. That's kind of my interpretation. But that was his logic. If somebody invites me, I'm going to go on the show because I don't know who's going to become great. And I think there's something to that. If somebody wants to come on martial arts radio, assuming they can put sentences together and assuming that they don't have an agenda that is overly restrictive, then we'll probably bring them on. But recognizing that there is so much more available to us and to those around us is absolutely worth consideration and remembering in the moment. Kelly says, one of the things I have the students do when they test for black belt, they have to do a personal demonstration of something that is important to them or demonstrate a non-martial arts talent. It's amazing to see what their personal greatness is. Often it is so mind-blowing. I wonder what I would have done for that. I don't think I had any talents beyond martial arts back then. Interesting. I don't know. What's our last one here? Our vanity, our self-love promotes the cult of the genius, Nietzsche said. For if we think of genius as something magical, we are not obliged to compare ourselves and find ourselves lacking. To call someone divine means here there is no need to compete. And it's interesting. We've kind of pulled back on use of the word genius. We're at a point where we don't want outliers. We don't look for those wonderful people and support them. I mean, some of us do, but just culturally, overall. If you stick your head out and you say, I'm really great at this. If I was to go on Facebook right now and make some comment about success or something, things that I had accomplished, I'm going to get some hate for it. I've watched it happen often when others do it. I remember somebody posting a few years ago when they had purchased a Tesla. Now, not that they need to justify it. I know the story. They got a good deal on a used car that had been sitting in a lot near their house for a while. And they went in, they offered dramatically lower than what was on the sticker, and they accepted it because they wanted to sell it. And so this person, who I know works very hard, got a good deal on a car. And he was very happy with the car. And he posted about getting the car and how happy he was. And someone who he had grown up with took umbrage with that and expressed his displeasure because he felt that my friend was bragging. There was nothing really bragging. It was pride. He had something that he was proud of, that he had worked hard to purchase, and he wanted to share that with people. But because this other person didn't see a path to them purchasing a Tesla, felt it was being shoved in his face, and was quite upset about it. How often do we see those sorts of things going on? It's a little more frequent than I would love I would love to see. If you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the general premise of that Kiyosaki book is don't say I can't, ask yourself how. How can I accomplish this? How can I purchase that Tesla? How can I find more time to work on these things in my training? Well, what about 2 minutes a day or 5 minutes over here? Why does it have to be an hour? Why does it have to be at a special place, right? It doesn't. Oh, by the way, I have my new office, and there are hardwood floors. I will absolutely be recording content. It's like a 20 by 20 dojo. It's great with desks. Gad says he would make Dutch pancakes. We've talked about this before, and my pronunciation was not great, and I'm not going to be able to do it better, but it's pankokken, something like that. Right? Often with apples. I've had them with apples. In fact, that's the only way I've had them with apples. There's always a way. We always have an opportunity. There's always time. Don't waste it. But take where you are and look at where you want to go and start moving. When I talk to my clients, and I talked to 5 of them yesterday, we talk about things like, okay, what's one thing you can do today to move towards that goal? It doesn't have to be huge movement. It's the accumulation of small movement. I talked to one client yesterday. I said, okay, what's something you can do today, something you can do by the end of the week, something you can do next week, and something you can do by our next call, which is in 2 weeks. And we came up with a plan. None of the things are huge, but they add up. If you take that Bruce Lee quote, I don't fear the man with 10,000 kicks, the man who's kicked 10,000 times. No, how many times do you have to kick per day to get to 10,000 kicks in a year? 30. Not even 25. If you do 25 kicks a day, you'll have 10,000 in a year. Maybe that should be the next challenge. The 10,000 kick challenge. Apparently everyone has lost focus and they're talking about breakfast. Oh, I love it. Don't quit. Don't quit. Never quit. Change, adjust, shift, reprioritize, acknowledge, but don't quit. And if your response to that statement, don't quit, is to be defensive, don't quit. You need to hear it even more. I'm glad you came by. Thanks for watching or listening. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great day, great weekend. Go into it with a smile on your face. I hope you make your days good ones. And I hope you bring some smiles, some joy to those around you. If you feel like supporting us, tons of things you can do. Join the Patreon. Go to the family page, whistlekick.com/family, with all the things you can do to help. Buy something with the code FirstCup15 at whistlekick.com. There's lots of good stuff up there. I'm glad you're here. I will see you on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Peace.